this stretch playing the home game against the Seahawks, huge, because it's huge for them, which makes it huge for you, because if you don't come out ready to go, I don't like how I kind of see that playing out if you do not match their intensity. And it's Russell Wilson. Next week, you got Kyler Murray, who's an MVP candidate in my eyes. Mm-hmm. That's a tough 3-game stretch. And this was the first test really going Packers, Seahawks, Cardinals. And if the 49ers lose 3 straight, you're going to see Trey Lance. And that's not something anybody should advocate for. I hope you want to see the team succeed more than Trey Lance getting inserted to the starting lineup. But if this team's 2-3 going into the bye week, there's no doubt in my mind it'll be Trey Lance. I don't want to see that, though. I want, and everybody should want, and I expect them to play a hell of a game against the Seahawks. I don't necessarily know who's going to win. The Seahawks are having a down year by their standards. The 49ers have never lost back-to-back games with Jimmy Garoppolo, and the Seahawks have never started 1-3 with Russell Wilson.
Here's my concern for this game for the Niners offense. First of all, they haven't played well the last 2 weeks in terms of yards per play. Second of all, Jimmy really struggled against the Seahawks last year in Seattle. Now, you could say he might have been hurt. Mm-hmm. I don't know. He really struggled in that game. And you might say they have the book on him. The book's out, but they've seen him so many times. They probably, all those players, those coaches know what they want to do against him. And if he is going to play like he played last year against Seattle, are you going to let another game go? I would have a quicker hook. I'm surprised the leash hasn't been shorter. Nothing against Jimmy.
Yeah.
You did this, and you're supposed to have confidence in him. And, I don't know. I feel like if you can manufacture stuff for Jimmy, you can manufacture stuff for Trey Lance. And what I want to see with Trey that we haven't been able to see much yet is play action. Mm-hmm. Play action. That's why he's here. You can do more on play action, go further down the field. The zone read is cool, and he needs to improve as a pocket passer, but what he can do in play action should theoretically be available now and make the team better.
And that's what I would advocate more so than if he should start or not, is he should still be on the field more.
Yeah.
Especially because it's Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback, and that's not a diss towards Jimmy Garoppolo. Well, it kind of is. It's catching a stray there from what I'm trying to say. But more so, Garoppolo's the type of quarterback that when he says he's A-okay with this type of situation, I truly believe it. I really do. I think he carries himself so professionally. He doesn't mind to see Trey Lance come into the game and steal some of his shine or lack of shine, Just from the first touchdown pass Trey Lance threw from Trent Sherfield, you see Jimmy Garoppolo on the sidelines jumping up and down. After the touchdown pass, when Trey Lance stole his drive to Trent Sherfield, Jimmy Garoppolo is cheering for him. And I believe that is a genuine reaction from Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not doing it for show. I really think he's cool with Trey Lance coming in and helping the team out. So my question is,
Kyle flirted with this in the final preseason game, going back and forth and back and forth against the Raiders. What was that all about? Why were you trolling us?
Yeah, my point's not that Trey Lance needs to start. I've never been that strong opinionated on it. It's that he's a weapon. Yeah. When you look at the opposing defense trying to get lined up, they look confused when Trey Lance is in the game.
True.
So why aren't you doing that more, utilizing him more, especially when you're having these slow starts?
Thank you.
And, of course. And that's what's maddening to me. Jimmy Garoppolo.
Theoretically, Lance should make Garoppolo better.
Yes.
And vice versa. And if you play both, they should. All you're doing is putting the defense on their heels.
And with the ground game, without Mostert, without Mitchell, these guys that you rely on for chunk yardage, I would just think he becomes that much more important to utilize, not to just only have him run the ball. He's a threat to run the ball every single play, but he could throw the ball too. And again, Kyle Shanahan, what are you doing? Jimmy Garoppolo's marching the ball. You put in Trey Lance, get all cute against the Lions. And then when it logically makes sense, a decision that everybody can get on board with for you to insert Trey Lance when the offense is starting slow, you don't do it. You don't do it.
Stubborn.
Stubborn. Oh, man. Stubborn. Yeah. So
after the game, they're like, so why did you play Trey or when you did, or why didn't? They're like, there's no reason. No reason. There's no rhyme or reason for when I do it. So thanks a lot for helping us on that.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Yeah. And the way my expectation shifted, this is a team that I really saw being very competitive in the NFC West. I know how great the Rams are. I think there's a huge gap between the Rams and the Cardinals, the 49ers, and the Seahawks are all kind of jumbled in together. And I was expecting to see this team play deep into January, which is still possible, maybe make a Super Bowl appearance. But right now I'm kind of like just target getting into the playoffs. It doesn't have to be winning the division. Maybe not aim for a wild card, but I would be content with that and just get into the dance and try to make some noise. That's kind of where my mind is at. It looks like these injuries, especially going up against Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Robert Woods, DeAndre Hopkins, this cornerback issue, I really underplayed, I think, following the Verrett injury, because it's looking rough. It's looking rough.
Yeah. I think you had to reassess your expectations after this game.
Yeah,
because,
you do.
You win your first 2 games, and people are like, well, you didn't win by enough, or there were some issues, and I think like part of you, maybe the fan in you, wants to say, shut up. You went, oh. But then you lose this game and you're like, okay, well, if we're being honest, like some of these issues were predictable because they showed themselves in the previous games. And really the difference is the Packers had, Rodgers and Adams, and those teams didn't.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And again, the team was right there to win the game. They had the chance to win the game, go 3-0, and maybe we're having a different conversation right now. But what I see, the way I feel about Garoppolo, the way I feel about Shanahan, the way I'm starting to feel like this team, there's going to be highs and lows. And if they can string together a complete football game, they're going to look dominant. But they're going to –
waiting for that.
We've seen it. We're waiting for that. But the potential and the stars on each side of the ball, I believe that there's going to be times this year where they look really, really good. And everybody's going to say to themselves, here we go. We're back. We're getting back in form. And then there's going to be the game like the Packers first half where it's like, what? This is what you're doing against backups? And that's just kind of how I see everything playing out the rest of the year. So I'm definitely dimming my expectations a little bit, just aiming for that playoff spot. That's kind of
real quick. I just feel like the Seahawks are going to have a very good defensive game plan, because when you play these divisional games, I mean, they're not just doing what they do. They're often very they have a plan for you. Yeah. And if the Niners, maybe this is what their whole thing is with Trey Lance. We got to save it for the divisional games because they know us so well. And this is what I'm just trying to give the Niners the benefit of the doubt.
Well, of course. And if that's what happens, that'd be very reassuring. It would be reassuring. Like watching the game and at least having Trey Lance try to come in and make a difference would be like, okay, benefit of the doubt, like you're saying.
Yeah.
But if the Seahawks have this great game plan for Garoppolo and he's struggling and we don't see Lance, and there's clear moments where he could come in and make something happen, like the 4th and 1 from Green Bay's 49-yard line from midfield was the perfect opportunity for Trey Lance to come in and help change the game. If you don't see that.
Okay. Also, like if you have another scenario where you're going like the first 3 series are 3 and out, do what you did in the Raiders game where you're just like alternating who hands off. Just mess with people.
Mess with them.
You can bring in Lance every other play just to hand off. Mess with people, because just, what you're doing, if it's not working, don't stick with it.
Yeah.
Go to a change-up, man. Yeah.
And so I don't care if Garoppolo has a terrible game and he's the reason why he's lost. I'm not coming for Garoppolo because we know he's capable of having these games. I'm coming for the man making the decision. That's the reason why Garoppolo's here. And that's what people are just so set on, blaming Garoppolo. He is who he is. Who's in charge of making the right calls and putting the right quarterback in the right situation? Not Jimmy Garoppolo.
I keep thinking of it like this. Think of it, Niner fans, try to think of it this way. Let's say the Rams didn't trade for Matthew Stafford. Instead, they kept Jared Goff and traded up for Trey Lance and started Jared Goff and didn't play Trey Lance. From the Bay, we'd be looking at them like, oh, what are they doing? They're stupid.
Idiots, yeah.
But that's what the Niners are doing.